Listen and practice.
This year, my mom made me a new pair of gloves for my birthday. That day, I wore them to the skating rink. It got quite warm. Everyone took off their heavy coats and hats. I took off my new gloves. I put them safely in my jacket and skated around in my sweater. When it was time to go home, I picked up my jacket. But my gloves were gone. I could not believe it. I went home and told my parents. They were upset with me. I felt terrible. Later that evening, the doorbell rang. It was a boy from school. He had the exact same jacket as me. I had accidentally picked up the wrong jacket. "Missing these?" he asked as he handed me my gloves and jacket. I had never been so happy to see a pair of gloves in my whole life.
Listen and practice.
My mom loves music. She wants me to become a pianist. But I like sports. I play baseball every day after school. Sometimes I stay out playing until it gets dark. So when my mom signed me up for piano lessons, I was not happy. Mom said I had to try the piano for 1 year. I went to the first lesson. It was very difficult. My fingers were not good at pushing the right piano keys. They were good at holding a ball. A little girl there saw me struggling. She said to me, "I will help you learn to play the piano if you teach me to play baseball." We became good friends that day. She taught me how to play Beethoven. I taught her to throw a curveball. Now I don't know which I like better, baseball or piano.
Listen and practice.
I like bears. They are strong and powerful. But I have never seen a bear in nature, at least not face to face. Last summer, I went camping in a park with my mom and dad. The man at the entrance warned us to be careful because there could be bears around. I thought he was joking. We had a nice time. We played, fished, and had picnics. There are no bears here, I thought. That night, as I slept in my tent, I heard a sound. I sat up to see what it was. There was a shadowy figure outside my tent. It was a bear! It was eating the food we had left outside. I was terrified. I did not want to meet my favorite animal at all. The next morning, we packed up and went home. Although bears are still my favorite animals, I only want to see them in a zoo.
Listen and practice.
There once was an elephant living in a forest. When summer came, his skin became very itchy To make things worse, the flies came to bother him. He used his long tail, ears, and even his trunk to swat at them. But there was a spot on his back that he could not reach. One day, a fly was on the elephant again, licking the salt off him. It was a spot that the elephant could reach. Just as the elephant prepared to kill the fly with his tail, he had an idea. He said, "Fly, I could kill you with my tail right now, but if you scratch my back where I can't reach, I will let you sit on me and eat all the salt you want." The fly buzzed. Sure! It flew to the top of the elephant's back and started working. The elephant smiled when his itch was finally scratched. And he learned an important lesson. Sometimes, if we try, the worst of enemies can become the best of friends.
Listen and practice.
There's an old saying, a little person doing the right thing is more powerful than a giant. I learned the exact meaning of this the other day. On our street, there lives a very big man, Mr. Boose. His house and yard are a mess. One day, my mom and I were walking past his house. There were bottles on the ground everywhere. The grass had not been cut for weeks, and the garden was full of garbage. My mother, who is very small, said to the huge man, "Mr. Boose, this yard is terrible. We're going to help you clean it up." So all of us, including Mr. Boose, worked for about an hour. Then the strangest thing happened. His yard became clean and neat. On top of that, Mr. Boose didn't hate the cleaning anymore. Now he has the most beautiful garden in our neighborhood.
Listen and practice.
Little Dan has a big question. On his stomach, there is a round, funny-looking bump. What is it? It is his belly button. But why does he have a belly button? Dan asks his father. His dad says, "Everyone has a belly button." Dan thinks this is very interesting. "But why do we all have belly buttons?" he asks. "Before you were born, you lived inside your mommy," explains Dad. "You needed food and air, but you could not get them on your own. So there was a cord on your belly that attached you to your mommy. Mom shared her food and air with you." This is very interesting, thinks Dan. "When you were born, the doctor cut this cord because you did not need it anymore," says Dad. "Your belly button is the place where this cord was attached to you." Dan is happy. He has solved the mystery of the belly button.
Listen and practice.
It was a hot summer day. Amy did not feel like doing anything at home. "I'm hot. Can I go swim in the pool?" asked Amy. Mom said, "You may swim after you finish your chores." Amy swept the floor quickly. "I'm so hot. I want to cool off in the pool." "You may, but only after you finish your chores," Mom insisted. So Amy washed the dishes. "I'm too hot," said Amy. "I just want to go swimming." Mom handed Amy $2. "Good job finishing your chores, Amy. Here's your allowance for this week," said Mom. "You can go swimming now." "The ice cream truck!" yelled Amy. Amy ran down the street with her $2. She bought an ice cream bar. She sat down on the curb and licked the cold, sweet treat. "This is even better than swimming," said Amy, "especially since I earned it all myself."
Listen and practice.
Mom was on her way to the kitchen. Just then, she heard Sarah say, "Let's surprise Mom today." So, Mom hurried back to bed. She didn't want to spoil the children's surprise. In the kitchen, Sarah made toast with lots of jelly on top. Mark cooked some eggs and put them in the prettiest dish he could find. Bill poured a big glass of orange juice. Then they put everything on a tray. Away they marched to Mom's room. Sarah, the oldest of them, carried the tray. Mark played his tin horn, and Bill played his drum. "Is this breakfast parade just for me?" asked Mom, very surprised and happy. "Yes," Sarah, Mark, and Bill were happy too, because they had finally made their mom breakfast in bed.